Chief Justice, I now present the final list of elected representatives for the National Assembly and the 9 provincial legislatures. Will you please join me as I do so? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. May God bless our country.
You still want us to
do
that? Okay.
This session.
Thank you. I'll keep it.
Thank you, Mr. Miepia, for the short remarks. It is indeed pleasing to note that more and more women are making it on the list, and achieving 43.5% of women representation in Parliament is a great achievement. So I think thanks must also go to the political parties for fielding so many women on their lists.
The JP here wants to make sure that I don't talk. I can talk twice. Program Director, thank you very much, Judge President Musi. Where's your list? Yeah, okay. The protocol list, yeah. Chairperson of the NCOP, Honorable Mr. Zondo, Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mr. Soto Mwepe, and fellow commissioners of the IEC, judges present and other judges who might be present here, Secretary to Parliament, Mr. George, and secretaries of the National Assembly and the NCOP, CEO of the IEC, Mr. Mamabolo, and other officials of the IEC present, the SG of the Office of the Chief Justice, Ms. Meme Sejosengwe, and officials of the OCJ. I also would like to acknowledge the presence of, is it the former acting speaker or still acting speaker? Acting Speaker of the National Assembly, Mr. Tsinoli, all other invited guests and officials of the state in attendance today, members of the public present, and those following these proceedings virtually via the electronic mediums, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is not necessary to drag this important ceremony for too long with long speeches, but nevertheless it is important to point out that today the handing over of the lists by the chairperson of the IEC to the Chief Justice and the handover of the lists by the Chief Justice to the Secretary of Parliament marks an important milestone in our constitutional democracy. We started off with the elections on the 29th of May. Thereafter, the IEC had to announce the results, which they did on the 2nd of June. The next step was exactly what we are doing today, the handing over of the lists. Then it will be the Chief Justice's turn, who will then have to announce the date for the first sitting of Parliament. At least now that the list is here, one knows who will be convened, who will be members of Parliament who will convene on the first day of the sitting. But it's important to also mention what else the judiciary has done to prepare for the next few weeks as the new administration is put together. In terms of the Constitution, the Chief Justice must make rules which will apply when the first sitting of Parliament takes place and the Speaker of Parliament is elected, the Deputy Speaker is elected, and the President is elected. Those rules will also apply to provincial legislatures. In terms of the Constitution, the Chief Justice presides over the election of the Speaker of Parliament, of the National Assembly. He also presides over the election of the President. He presides over the election of the chairperson of the NCOP. He administers the oath of affirmation to all members of Parliament, the National Assembly, and NCOP. But he also is given the task of presiding over the provincial legislatures and swearing in members of the provincial legislatures. But the Constitution gives him the power to designate other judges to do that rather than him or her doing all of that by himself. I'm very happy to announce that, one, the rules to which I've just referred have been published. I have made the rules. They have been published that will apply both to the national parliament as well as to the provincial legislatures. Two, I'm happy to also announce that I have designated all the judges presidents in the various provinces as the judges who will preside in the provincial legislatures when the speakers and the premiers are elected. So all of that is in place. So I thought that it's important that while the Secretary of Parliament was sharing with you how ready they are, we must tell you also how ready the judiciary is. Let me take this opportunity to also thank the IEC for being able to prepare this list so soon after the announcement of the results. I think that that's very important. And as I've said, now that that step has taken place, then the announcement of the date for the first sitting of Parliament will be the next step. That, as you know, will be announced by the Chief Justice, and I think it's going to happen pretty soon. I'm not going to say it's going to be this afternoon. I'm not going to say it's going to be tomorrow, but it's going to be pretty soon. So I, therefore, want to simply say the judiciary will play its role to make sure that our constitutional democracy runs as smoothly as it should. I know that not everybody agrees on certain issues relating to the elections. The judiciary will continue to play its role if there are any people who are aggrieved and approach the courts. But as things stand at the moment, the events that need to take place in order for our constitutional democracy to continue are going to continue, and the judiciary will play its role. I thought that I would just mention those. Otherwise, Program Director, Oh. Did you want to just confuse me? Program Director, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Chief Justice, may I call upon you and Mr. George, firstly, to stand up, and so that you formally then hand over the list to the Secretary of Parliament.
Secretary, thank you very much.
May I ask you, Mr. Muepia, and Mr. Zondo, just to join them for a photo session? I'm told that, yes. Okay.
We must show that we are happy.
Yeah. Thank you. You may be seated.